Hello, everyone, and welcome to this presentation. It's Julia here, and I'm going to talk about podcasting as a marketing tool. So, I'm pretty excited to talk about this because I love podcasts, and I hope you do too. Let's get started. What will we cover today? So, here's a list of the points that I'm going to talk about. And first of all, we ask us the question, why do we even bother to include podcasts in our marketing? And you will learn why. So I highly encourage you to do so, actually, if you haven't done so. But more to it later. Then we will talk about what are the ways you can go about this, because there are different options that you have here. And I will show you the podcasting platforms that you can use and how to set up your podcast if you decide to have your own podcast. And last but not least, I show you strategies to increase the reach of your podcast. Okay? All right, so let's get started. Now, why? Hang on, I skipped one. Let's go back. My cursor is okay. So this one. So who am I to talk about podcasts? You might be wondering. So like I said, my name is Julia, and I am a social media and business coach, and I have been doing that for more than 15 years now. And I also am a public speaker, a mom of two, and I've been living the digital nomad lifestyle since 2011. So when I left my home country, Germany, 10 years ago, I actually only wanted to take a break. Yes, I was fed up with my job. I loved it, but I also hated the fact that it consumed me. So I decided to see what's out there in the world. And traveling was always something that I found highly exciting. So I took the leap, I bought that ticket around the world, and then I planned to be back after 3 months, and it turned into my lifestyle. I never returned. So I'm still out there. Obviously, I not only fell in love with traveling, I also fell in love with the love of my life, and he's now the father of our two sons who were born around the world as well. So they are digital nomad kids. We are a digital nomad family. But also what we did is we tested everything from, working as backpackers and doing all random jobs. But we built our online businesses on the road because we learned that, yes, well, this is our lifestyle, so we didn't want to go back, and we needed a way to make this lifestyle work. And how other can you do that, yes, other than having an online income, right? So what I'm doing today is helping entrepreneurs create or scale their online businesses, and I'm teaching them my unique marketing blueprint by including social media tricks and hacks and strategies so that they can actually generate leads to their businesses through social media. And I do that in a one-on-one setting. And I just recently also launched my first group coaching program, the Visible Coach, which is really exciting for me because it's so much fun to actually be in a group and help people on a bigger scale. So yes, that's a little bit about me, my background. But you're here for the podcasting, so let's get started on that. Why should you even bother thinking about that? You might be here wondering, okay, podcasts, I love podcasts, but how do they use or help me actually in my business? And so here are a few ways to use them. Now, you can, let me just quickly check here. So here are a few ways you can, I'm just jumping back and forth. Hang on, bear with me. Why using podcasts in your marketing robot? There we go. Okay, this is a great question because obviously they are hot. Right now, everyone loves podcasts. They not only are for entertainment, but also for education. They're a great way of getting, some of the topics that you always wanted to study. people now have the possibility of actually have access to them on the go. You download them or you save them for later. You do it while you cook, while you drive your car. So it's an awesome way of accessing information. From the other side, like the perspective of the one who creates podcasts, you as the business owner, you can deliver your message, your knowledge, and people can consume your content easily and whenever they want to. So definitely, well, obviously I'm cheering for podcasts, so I'm encouraging you to think about that as a real option for yourself. They help you also to build social proof. By that I mean you can increase the credibility of you as the brand or your business, or if you're a coach, your authority in your field, by showing them, your audience, a platform like your podcast. That is really something that validates again how serious you are about your business. And just another platform in order to increase your reach, obviously. But in my opinion, like I said, your audience, everyone is different. Some might prefer video or images and community, and some prefer audio. So why miss out on this awesome opportunity to also deliver and give them actually this way of accessing your content as well? And you can showcase your expertise, like I said, and expand your network. Because once you have a podcast, and this is a little bit, I will talk about this in one of the next slides as well. So obviously this is a new way of opening the doors for collaborations, for simply getting to know others with podcasts and see how you and they can then create something together. So expanding your network, and we all know that network is key, right? Networking is so big when you are a business owner. That's something that you should have on your to-do list at least once per month, if not more. And with a podcast, you can definitely expand your network. So what are the ways to go about it? And you do have 3 options. You can either start your own podcast if you haven't done so, or you could guest speak on other people's podcasts. You don't necessarily have to have your own podcast. However, I will go into these 3 options in a bit after this slide, and then you will see what's the pros and cons. So then the third option is obviously you have both. You either you have your own podcast, or you speak only on other people's podcasts. Let's see what's the pros and cons for that. So if you have your own podcast, what does that mean? First of all, you decide the content. So you can 100% do whatever you want in your podcast. It's your show, right? You can go and speak about any topic that's relevant to your audience. You can have guests on your show, and obviously you also dictate the frequency. So I'm not sure if you've done blogging before, or if that's something that you're still doing, but look at the podcast as if it's actually an audible blog. So whatever frequency that serves you most, that you can actually manage and hold in a consistent way, I recommend you do. What I mean by that is it's either weekly or bi-weekly or monthly episodes that you publish, but then once you have decided which frequency is best for you and your business, you stick with it. Because then what it does, your audience actually learns, okay, each Friday this new episode comes out. So it's like receiving a membership, a magazine by mail. So they know, okay, every Friday I can listen to this podcast that I subscribed. And this builds trust, this builds your community, and this keeps keeps getting, your message out on a consistent basis. And of course, this doesn't have to be free. You can monetize your podcast. So this is another pro. It's not another, like, essentially you can monetize every single social media platform. But most people, when they think about podcasts, oh yeah, I record my voice, I talk about something, and then that's it. No, you can, you can do sponsored episodes. You can include interruptions with advertisement, either for others, like you can have you yourself record advertisements and talk about your own products and interrupt your episode, or you can actually talk about someone else's product and you will earn through your affiliate link, right? So this is monetization. And that's a great way. So if you're looking to add another income stream to your business, podcasts are a wonderful way of doing so. Okay, awesome. Then of course it might be overwhelming for some if you think about, it's another platform to add, right? You might be thinking, oh no, I just figured out Instagram, and I do run my Facebook group, and oh my goodness, my YouTube channel is so time consuming. Now again, yeah, of course, it can be overwhelming. I have a trick on how to decrease that overwhelm. I'm not going to give it away now. Look at this slide and only the cons right now. But you also might feel that your reach is fairly small in the beginning. It takes some work, but with any other platform, it's the same, right? In the beginning, we all start small, and then by consistently adding value and content and reaching out to other people, you will increase your reach. So don't get frustrated if you see, only 10 people listen to this episode. Oh my goodness, no. It's worth it, like on the long run. Like with every single social media platform, it's not a quick win. It's not going to help you to become famous from overnight. But if you started, like, and really stick with it, I guarantee you that your podcast can be a valuable asset in your business. Like, for example, in my case, I get approached by, like, I don't want to exaggerate, so I don't want to say every week, but I'd say at least 3 or 4 times per month, thanks to my podcast and the interviews that I give on other people's podcasts. And these are new clients. This is a way of showing who I am, and to get a taste of your coaching style, or your knowledge. You're the expert in your field, so show it, right? Let's move on. So guest speaking on other people's podcasts could be your single way of going about this. And you say, oh no, I have too many social media chores going on, I can't add another one. I totally get it. So okay, maybe you do it next year. Maybe you increase your sales and work on building your business first, and then once you are in that position where you say, I have the budget to outsource a few of my tasks. I do have my virtual assistant now. Now I actually have freed up a little bit of time during the week. Now I can start my podcast, right? So set it as a goal. Keep working towards it. And in the meantime, try to be on as many podcasts as possible out there. Maybe once per month could be a goal for you. And that is obviously a wonderful way of tapping into other people's audiences. So yes, ideally you want to be on the big shows, of course. However, be realistic about this. If you are just starting out, chances are that only smaller podcasts or hosts of smaller podcasts will invite you over until you got to a certain point where you already are, recognized as the expert in your field. However, don't underestimate, whoever runs a podcast knows it's tough work to actually get this show filled. So they are grateful if you approach them and pitch them and say, my social media following might not show it, but I am an expert in this field for X amount of time of years. So I can definitely add some value to your show. Let's have a chat and see if I could be the next guest for your show. So yeah, give it a try. There are certain ways of going about this, and I highly recommend you do try this out. What it also does is, obviously, if you appear on other people's podcasts, it builds social proof. Again, your credibility here expands and explodes, and you benefit from the marketing efforts that they put into promoting their show. And because you're on the show and you don't have to do anything, you just show up on that interview. Usually that is not longer than 1 hour. So within 1 hour, you did your job, and it could attract really potentially your next client. So yes, this is another pro that I put there. You save time, and let the podcast host do the work for you, right? And of course, as a con, it takes some time to find gigs. You definitely need to set aside a block of time where you do some outreach. You research the popular podcasts in your niche. You listen to them. You need to get familiar with their style. Do they interviews or not? And then you check if you can actually contribute value to that podcast, and then you reach out to them, send them an email, or contact them on Instagram. And this is a process that takes time, and in the beginning maybe feels a little bit awkward also. However, if you have a certain process set up that you can then later on even outsource and give it to your VA, this outreach, it takes away a lot of time from your schedule. And have a message template ready. Make it personal though. Like, even though you can have a chunk of text in that message template that is always the same, like how to get in touch with you, your previous work, your validation why you should be on the show, but then add something why you love their show and why it's such a no-brainer for you to be their next interview guest. Okay, so, and here comes my favorite option for you, and I highly encourage you to take the leap and actually do this, right? Do both, because once you have your own show, it's easier to actually get on other people's show, because you can do interview swaps. And so this is actually, it's the same. It enhances your chances to be invited, right? Once they see, oh, you also have your own podcast, so they see the benefit and value in having you on as a guest, like even more. And then it also shows that you're really serious about this. It is a time commitment, definitely. Like, I'm not saying that this is this will be done within 30 minutes. No, but it's another asset, and it's another like really great way of expanding your reach, your building up your reputation out there in your niche. So think about it, and I'd say go for it. Okay, what podcasting platforms are out there? What can you actually do with them? There's tons and tons and tons of platforms. So honestly, I mean, this list could be pages long. So I just added these 4 because these are the ones that I'm most familiar with. However, you name it. You can type in podcasting platforms, best podcasting platforms, and then read all the reviews. My personal experience, I have 2 podcasts, and both of them are hosted on Anchor FM. I love them because it's easy, like, to navigate. They're for free, and they help me spread and distribute to other podcast platforms like Spotify, Google Podcast, iTunes, and so on and so on. So I don't have to do that. Most of them don't, and most of them do too. So you never have to actually do it yourself. But I decided for Anchor FM because it was just its personal taste too, right? It's like looking for your hosting company for like your server, your website where you host your website. Just have a browse. I know there's paid versions for that, and you can upgrade and have more services around it. But if you start out right now, don't pay for anything. Like, this platform should be free. And like I said, I can only highly encourage you to check out Anchor FM. I know some of my friends, they have Buzzsprout and Podbean and Captivate. That's why I put them here. But yeah, there's a million of other platforms as well. Now, you might be wondering, so how do I actually get started? What should I do? Here's one of my podcasts, and this is the newest one that I just launched a few months ago. What you do first is, obviously, you have to set this up and make it look, branded, so that it is part of your business. So what you need to create is a thumbnail. This thumbnail is like a profile picture for podcast. So this is what you see. This is a screenshot of the actual Anchor FM public page. When people come and check out my podcast, that's what they see, the first screen. Okay, so what they see is that thumbnail that yes, represents the overall topic, the Balanced Entrepreneur podcast. That's the name that I chose, and I did set this. This is one of my brand colors, so I just used this to customize the look and feel of this platform. This is great, and that's why I love Anchor FM so much, because they let you, put your branding on it very easily. And then you have to name your show. What is it? It doesn't have to be too, you don't have to spend so much time thinking about it, but it should make sense, so that maybe you already have your brand name and you think your podcast should be called the same. However, I don't suggest that. A podcast is an organic way of growing your audience and building trust. So don't make it look too salesy. Like, if you have, I could say the Julia Yerk show. Who would want to listen to that? It doesn't say anything, right? So the name should actually already include your keywords, your value proposition. So what I'm obviously suggesting, that by listening to this, entrepreneurs who hustle a lot, who, are mostly stressed out, will find a balanced way in their work and private life. So try to find something short and sweet. It shouldn't be too long either, so that people can remember, and you can also promote it a lot easier than 20 words. It's actually not going to fit in there anyways. But make it easy for them to remember your name, and then make sure that if you don't go with Anchor FM, they do it automatically. But if you go with another platform, make sure that you distribute it to other platforms too, right? So that you have, all the chances to reach all people, because not everyone listens to Spotify, and some people prefer iTunes, and, so that it is all over the place, right? And then you have to describe your show. Like, it's think about it as a little, teaser, some information, so that people, when they get to this landing page here, they actually know what the show is about, and then they can decide if they even want to listen to it or subscribe to it. So it's just an intro, who you are, why you created this show, what your core message is, and and that's it. Description of your show. And once you have set up the framework for it, then it's time to record your first episode. And actually, it's like with a blog. I would recommend that you sit down and create content on batch, because then you have the really, it shouldn't, when someone comes to a podcast and there is only one episode, chances are you lose this person because they will forget. Like, what you want, ideally, record at least 5 episodes, I'd say. 10 are even better, but like, let's be realistic, right? People have lives and busy schedules, so I know. But you can do 3 to 5 episodes in one sit and have it ready. You sit down, you topic 1, your keywords, what you want to talk about, and then you record it, and then you can schedule it on the same platform. There's a wonderful scheduling tool. And then this way, you schedule your future episodes, but in this case, the first 3 to 5 episodes, I actually highly recommend that you publish them immediately, so that it is filled, and that the first person who comes actually has some content that they can listen to. Okay. It does look different on each platform, but you have the opportunity to, on most platforms, you have the opportunity to to record it on the platform, or you can also obviously pre-record it, right? So what you do is just use whatever, like if you're a Mac user, I'm a Mac user, so I would record my my voice with QuickTime Player, then save that file to my Google Drive, and then from there I upload it to Anchor FM. Okay, and then I put the description, the title, and then I publish. And you can also record on the platform, like I just said. So this makes it, one step less. I'm a little bit nervous when I create content, because I sometimes think if there's a hiccup while I'm recording and I click save and this platform tells me, oh, we couldn't save your file, then I just, have to do it all over again. But that's just me. If you're not as superstitious as I am, or trust more, record it on the platform and you save this one step. But be aware of the fact that it can happen, or if your internet connection interrupts, or for some reason, something can always go wrong. So yeah, pre-record it, upload the file, and you're on the safe side. Okay. Strategies. Now, how can you actually increase the reach of your podcast? So once you decided to have your own podcast, you want to make sure that it is all over social media and that everyone knows about this. How can you do this? Obviously, you link to your podcast from your email signature. Like put a link into your email signature saying, new podcast, listen to the newest episode here, and then you link to your podcast. That's a really easy way. Same goes for your social media platforms. Maybe you use Instagram, then put a link into your bio. Share it everywhere where you think that people, are looking at you. So if you're really active on Facebook, have it in your below your profile picture, in the sweet spot. I always call it sweet spot. This small space where you can describe who you are and what you do. Put a link there, just, to get you started in the beginning. And then you don't always have to have your podcast all over. Once you want to focus on other projects, you can remove it or change it or come back to it. But if that is your focus right now and you really want to increase the reach of it, then I'd say all over social media. Go wild, let everyone know. And as soon as you have it out there, call your friends, send them direct messages, and let them know. People need to know, right? They can't know and figure it out themselves. I mean, obviously, once you rank and have made it, to a few episodes, then on Spotify or Google Podcast or iTunes, when people type in your keywords, you will show up. But in the beginning, you need to push a little bit. You need to be, you need to tell people that you have a podcast. So ask people also in Facebook groups, for example, that if you're allowed to promote your podcast, or a really wonderful, smooth way of promoting your podcast is simply hop on people's, become a guest expert in someone else's Facebook group, talk about a topic that is related to your podcast, and then drop the news that you also have a podcast. Everyone knows that if you're doing interviews, that you're not only providing value, but that you also share information about yourself. So this is, don't be shy, do this as well. Include this in your, in your marketing, and in your communication. And one last thing also, connect it with your website. If you have a website or even a blog, then you can either have a link in the menu, and link from your menu directly to the podcast platform outside. Or what you can also do, you can host, like not host, but have a sub page on your blog, for example, and say have previews of each episodes on your actual website, so that people, they can click on it and then look and see the content on your actual website. So this is obviously, if you are a blogger, then this increases the time that people spend on your site, which helps you with your ranking on Google. And so you want to make sure that people actually spend as much time as possible here. So there's a way, like, embed your podcast episodes so that people stay on your page. Okay, you still can host it on Anchor FM, for example, but then you have this embedded podcast episode, and people can click and they listen on your website, right? Good. Bonus. Who is excited about bonuses? Everyone loves bonuses. So here's some bonus tips. What you can do is you can actually follow certain podcasts, so you get an idea and a feeling for what is working in your industry. I don't say go out there and copy other people's concepts or strategies or name. For God's sake, no, please don't do that. But you can see what works. Like, some people are already doing it and they're crushing it. So you want to make sure that you tune in and feel what is working and look what they are doing, so you can adapt it to your style and to your business. Okay, never copy, but clearly have an eye on your competition, and don't invent the wheel. You don't have to invent the wheel, it's already out there. So that's my bonus tip number one. And then when you create your episodes, give value. However, you need to leave something for later, right? So people tend to, pour everything out. And it's obviously great. And you also don't have to be afraid that, if I, give away too much, then no one will afterwards come to you and want to work with you. No, I mean, you always have something more to say, and it always depends on also the questions of your clients, your future clients. But what I want to say with this is also save something for later, so that you really, like, from your podcast, that's like your blog, you're teasing, you want to make sure that people get something out of it and can actually complete a task or move forward with something, but then they still want to have more. They want to listen to the next episode. They want to reach out to you for your one-on-one coachings. They want to be in your community because they know you have something to deliver. Okay, and then also, you can reuse your blog posts or your YouTube videos. Actually, I do that all the time. Like, what I do is when I, on my other podcast that I didn't show you, I have a digital nomad mom podcast too, where I talk about my lifestyle. And since I have a blog as well and a YouTube channel too for it, I do record the interviews for my podcast. And then I don't only upload this to my podcast platform, but I also have the actual video with the interview, and I put it on my YouTube channel. So this way I save myself some time in, coming up with video content for my YouTube channel. And actually, people like watching people talk. Some do, some don't. So those who love watching people talk and have a conversation, they can go ahead and watch the interview on my YouTube channel. So if you do have that, use it. Or, if you have existing videos that you already created and you say you did a few tutorial videos, go ahead, pull them out, and you already have your script for your first episode, of some of your episodes. And same goes for blog posts. I'm sure you've written articles or guest posts or even your social media posts. Sometimes they are great for, as a start to create your podcast script. And when I say script, I don't have my podcasts written out, so I don't do that. Some people read, each and every single word. I sometimes even don't have notes because I like talking as I go, and this doesn't limit my creative process. But some people need to read, and then like as if you do a presentation, have some keywords, notes that you want to talk about, and then it's much easier, especially if you're nervous and start out. Okay, so these are a few bonus tips that you can apply, and that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you found it valuable, and obviously I would love to connect on social media. I'm a social media girl, so you find me all over, and I didn't want to put all my links of social media. So my main ones are, of course, my Balanced Entrepreneur podcast, if you want to check that one out. The other one I didn't list here because I think it's not as relevant, but if you are a digital nomad as well or tapping into that lifestyle, feel free to check me out as the Digital Nomad Mom. And then obviously on Instagram and Facebook, you can find me as well. I would love to get your feedback and stay in touch. And thanks so much for watching.